All right, player one, listen up. Welcome to the ultimate strategy guide for, well, the most complex, frustrating, and rewarding game there is, life. If you've ever felt like your character is just bugged, then you have come to the right place. Let's get you patched up.
You ever feel like you're just stuck in a loop? You tell yourself you're going to hit the gym, but somehow you end up on the couch instead. You swear you'll stop doom scrolling, but then it's 2 a.m. and your screen is still glowing. Look, this isn't a moral failing. It's a glitch. It's just a bug in your personal code that's got you grinding the same low-level zone over and over again.
But hey, good news! Today we're releasing the patch notes. In this guide, we're going to identify those glitches holding you back. We'll understand the game's core mechanics, find those super powerful Keystone Habits, learn to manage your willpower stat, get a massive buff from your guild, and finally, you'll get your first main quest. Let's do this. So, let's take a look at another player's story. This is Lisa Allen. Now, a few years back, her character build was, frankly, a mess. She had a debt debuff of over $10,000, a nasty smoking debuff, and she was just generally stuck in a low happiness state. I mean, it was a classic case of being trapped on a really difficult level with no clear way out. Does any of that sound familiar? I mean, maybe it's not debt or smoking for you. Maybe it's procrastination, or a bad diet, or just that feeling of being stuck, repeating the same patterns, getting the exact same frustrating results. Well, every great game has a solution, and this one is no different. You just have to understand the rules. So, let's talk about the game's physics. Every single game has a core engine that dictates how everything works. In the game of life, that engine is something scientists call the habit loop. Seriously, understanding this is like learning to rocket jump. It fundamentally changes how you play the game. Okay, so the habit loop is your brain's ultimate efficiency script. It's designed to conserve your mental energy, your mana, if you will, by automating common behaviors. And it's got 3 simple parts. The cue, that's the trigger, the routine, which is the behavior itself, and the reward, which tells your brain, hey, was this loop worth remembering for later? Researchers at MIT actually saw this whole process in action. They put these rats in a maze and just watched their brain activity. At first, the rat's brain is firing on all cylinders, trying to figure things out. But once it learns the path to the chocolate reward, its brain activity just plummets. It's chunked the whole behavior into an automatic script. Bell rings is the cue, run the maze is the routine, get the chocolate is the reward. And your brain does this with everything, from tying your shoes to that afternoon cookie craving. So here is the most crucial part. You can't just delete a bad habit. I mean, the code is already written. This brings us to the golden rule of habit change. Instead of deleting, you have to mod it. You keep the old cue and the same reward your brain is craving, but you swap out that faulty routine for a better one. Alcoholics Anonymous is a perfect example of this mod in action. The cue might be stress or loneliness. The craving, the reward your brain wants, is relief. The old routine was drinking, so AA mods the game. It inserts a totally new routine, calling a sponsor or going to a meeting. See? Same cue, same reward, but a completely life-changing new routine. You're literally hacking the loop.
Okay, you've mastered the basic physics. Awesome. Let's move on to a more advanced strategy. See, some habits are way more powerful than others. These are what we call Keystone Habits, and they're like unlocking a major skill that gives you buffs across your entire character sheet.
A Keystone Habit is a serious high-leverage move. It's that one skill point you invest that just creates this cascade of positive changes. It doesn't just give you one new ability, it gives you multiple passive bonuses that automatically level up other areas of your life, a lot of the time without you even trying.
Just take exercise, for example. Studies show that when people start exercising regularly, that's the keystone, a whole skill tree just unlocks. They start eating better, not because they're forced to, but because it just feels right. Their productivity at work goes up. They feel less stressed. Their patience stat actually improves. One change creates this amazing chain reaction of wins.
And this stuff even works at a macro level. When Paul O'Neill became the CEO of the manufacturing giant Alcoa, he didn't focus on profits. He focused on one thing: worker safety. By making safety the core Keystone Habit, it forced everyone to improve communication and streamline their processes, which, almost by accident, led to a massive increase in efficiency and record profits. Now that is a serious power-up. All right, now for a crucial stat you absolutely need to manage: willpower. Most players think of willpower as some kind of moral skill. It's not. I want you to think of it as your character's stamina bar. It is a finite resource, and it depletes throughout the day.
This was proven in this classic experiment at Case Western. They brought in 2 groups of students. On the table, fresh-baked cookies and a bowl of radishes. Group 1 had to resist the cookies and eat the radishes. Group 2, they got to eat the cookies. Afterwards, both groups were given a really difficult puzzle. The radish group, who had totally drained their willpower stamina resisting temptation, gave up after just 8 minutes. The cookie group, they worked for 19 minutes.
So the key takeaway here is this: willpower is a finite resource. You have to manage it like your health or your mana bar. Don't waste it on low-level side quests early in the day if you know you have a major boss fight, like a tough project or a difficult conversation, waiting for you later. Conserve that energy.
And now, for the secret level. This is the cheat code that multiplies the effectiveness of everything else we've talked about. This is the build buff. It's the power of community.
Okay, here's the secret. For a new habit to really stick, especially when you're hit with a stress debuff, you have to believe it can work. And that belief stat gets a massive power-up when you're part of a group, a guild, where everyone is on the same quest. It makes the change feel not just possible, but normal.
Think about AA again. It's a perfect example of a guild, right? It provides a system for new routines, it gives you a community to support you during tough times, it creates social accountability, but most importantly, it constantly reinforces the belief that you can defeat the boss. Change becomes real because you literally see it happening all around you.
Okay, we've covered a lot of theory. Now it's time to equip these new skills. Let's get tactical and give you your first main quest. It is time to debug one of your own faulty loops.
Here is your quest log. First, identify the routine. Let's say it's getting a cookie every day at 3:30. Next, experiment with rewards. Are you craving the cookie or is it just a break? Try a walk or maybe just chatting with a coworker instead. See what actually satisfies the urge. Third, isolate the cue. The next time you feel that urge, log your location, the time, your emotional state, and what you just did. A pattern's going to emerge, I promise. Finally, implement your new plan. Once you know the cue and the real reward, you write a new script. For example, at 3:30, instead of getting a cookie, I'll go chat with a friend for 10 minutes. Simple.
And to help you on your quest, we've got some loot for you. There's a link down in the description to a free 1-page character stat sheet. You can use it to track your progress, identify your loops, and design your brand new quests.
You now have the strategy guide. You understand the game's physics, the skill trees, stat management, and the power of the guild. So the only question left is, are you ready to stop grinding and start winning?
Hey, if this guide helped you out, hit that like button and subscribe to boost our guild's authority. We'll be back with more strategy guides to help you totally dominate the game. Until next time, good luck out there, Player One.